I think video games are violent.
Not necessarily.
Fight!
What are you talking about, man? Have you seen the stuff that going on in America?
Well-
Kids getting dropped left, right and centre. Kids getting shot down in Orlando.
Well, that's more to do with gun law rather than it's the video game's fault.
Why do the kids get this idea in their head? Do you think them playing GTA and COD didn't get the idea in their head of going shooting up schools?
What about violent films? You can just label everything being violent and just be mass censorship.
Nah,
Oh yeah, you want to be pro mass censorship? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, man, definitely. You don't see people controlling movies. When you're in the game, you control the character. The actions that you make, the character makes. That's where people get these ideas in their head.
Games. It's not necessarily violent. Games can help expand knowledge. For example, on sociability. For example, if you have someone who isn't that sociable, they play videos, become more sociable. It's not necessarily
By being by themselves in a little man's basement, sweating their hose off.
Not necessarily.
Cheerios.
Look at, for example, LAN on PC, where you get groups of people coming together to play a particular game. You know, for example, online games. This is more likely in these days where mostly all games are online, where there's someone to interact to.
Where you're isolated. There is no community. There's an online community, but you could be playing with some lad in America. You don't know who he is. He can have a paedophile, and you're just hoping to have some fun.
And not necessarily. For example, online community can be as good as community in real life. You get to know particular people when they post on particular topics. You get to know them individually. For example, you might play with a person from America. You might become really good friends and add them on Skype and talk to them for daily.
But the fact that I can talk to people in real life, I can see body language, I can see emotion. There's no text-based posting. I can see who they are really and get a feel for their personality quicker.
Not necessarily. If you look at this, you can get, for example, I can get your personality from how you speak, how you articulate words, for example.
Not necessarily. Like civil talking, there's people calling each other fags and raping
not
each other's
necessarily. There
mothers
is
and ill-wishing on each other.
Not necessarily. There can be civil discussion within games. It's just the fact you haven't been playing the right games.
Well, I'm playing the popular games, the ones that most kids are playing. Again, the Call of Duties, the Dooms, the Grand Theft Autos. These are the popular games that most kids have access to and are getting these negative energies from, causing such violent reactions and going up shooting schools.
Yeah, but the thing is, not every kid plays the latest game. For example,
most kids. If you find a kid that's still playing COD 1, he's very strange. He's very a massive minority. Most people get the brand new COD in November and play it hardcore and then shoot up their schools in January.
Not necessarily. There's what, 1 million to 1.2 to 1.3 million sales of COD. You know, individuals. Many more millions, yes. But that doesn't mean that there's going to be 3 to 4 million, shootings. Not necessarily. There needs to be effective gun law in the particular country. You talk about the US. There should be particular gun law that will restrict the access to arms rather than, it's violence's fault. Video games violence fault.
You don't have to go and mess up a place with just a gun. You can go to your local DIY shop, get a knife, and then go melee attack someone. This is, again, something that someone might have picked up in your Call of Duties and whatnots. And these... you might make the point of, people might already have the mental weaknesses beforehand. This is possible, but these such video games are going to expand upon these mental weaknesses, these sociopaths, psychopaths, and make this possible a lot. This is going to make their ideas more realistic and make them want to fulfill these fantasies.
Well, there was a report there last year that a research team in the UK released. In fact, video games are actually a positive on young children's lives rather than a negative or causing violence.
Some video games, some more puzzled games, all the DS games where it's all brain teasers and whatnot, they can build up a person's mental capabilities. But when you're going around sniping people from a little corner, that's not getting a person's brain active in the appropriate way.
Well, you define appropriate way. There's no definition. That's a subjective term rather than an objective term. For example, if you play, for example, COD, you can learn tactics. Tactics that could help. Not necessarily
shoot up a skill.
No, not necessarily shooting up a skill.
How to reload effectively, how to handle a weapon.
No, how to
snipe from long
how to
range,
forward plan.
Scope 360s.
How to forward plan. How to predict what other people are going to do.
Sufficient ammunition, crowd scatters.
Not necessarily. As I was saying, the game, there is no necessarily video game causes violence. It's more people have perplexed this into a situation, videos cause everything. It's where the older generation say whatever new or popular out from the current generation, to blame everything on that.
But I don't think there was mass murders and shootings when, let's say, something new like heavy metal came out. There might have been some violence, but the level of extreme violence wasn't as extreme as we see today. You didn't see a metalhead going in and shooting up a school. He might have beat up a few people just out of rage, but there was no extreme violence.
Well, it depends on who you ask again, because some people might attribute metal music to violence, while others wouldn't.
But the level of violence, when you see a person in these violent video games, as you control these characters to perform these violent acts, you might get this taste, this desire to make this. You might get this idea, this pleasure, and you want to increase this pleasure. You might get bored of this digital version. You might want to make a realistic version.
But most people will not. Most people will restrain themselves. Most
people. I'm not those few people who have caused problems.
Yeah, but that's probably due to not necessarily the video game's fault, but something else in their life going wrong.
Possibly, but you're telling me that the video game was not related, that the video game did not help in this cause. You're telling me if you took Call of Duty off the shelf and these are gonna just keep happening. Fucked.
As again, this video games does not necessarily violence. It may contribute a little bit, yes, but it's not the root cause of violence or extreme violence.
There's many different possibilities, but it's definitely gonna happen. If you see a person recreating these in a video game, they're gonna want to recreate these in real life. If you have a kid playing some games for 20-30 hours straight, these are all they're gonna see in their head. This is gonna rewire them. This is gonna make them want to fulfill these in real life.
Yeah, but again, most people can detach what is reality and what isn't reality. These kids or young people can actually realize what's the difference between a video game and real life. While oh wait, something happened. Now let something, for example, a shooting happens. Let's just say the cause was video games, and the list goes on until you come down to some mad, stupid reason. It isn't the only reason. Most people have, for example, most people know the difference between reality and not. It's not like saying, oh, everybody under 21 doesn't know the difference. That's incorrect.
But you're not gonna have a kid playing NASCAR and then want to go out and shoot up a place because he hasn't got that thrill of shooting up people in NASCAR. If you have some person Grand Theft Auto going around shooting up people in the street, they're gonna get this buzz, they're gonna get this excitement, and they're gonna want to build upon this excitement in a more realistic sense.
No, that depends on the person. For example, as I said, most people will know what is real and what is not real.
But when you have a person playing these games for so long, so extremely, so many amount of hours, they're gonna get a warped sense of what is reality.
Okay, I think we've met an impasse which we probably will never come over. We both have our own differing opinions on this.
Mine is superior.
Not necessarily, but
factually.
Okay, but my final points are that video games are not game violence is not the cause of any of these. It doesn't exist.
Definitely is.
Your closing points?
If we extracted these games from shop shelves, you're not going to see as many violent shootings. You're not going to see the level of violence in schools. You're not going to see kids going crazy, and just be a happier world.
It won't. It really won't be a happier world, because what you're asking for is censorship.
Not censorship. Just dull it down a bit. You don't need such violence. Thanks for watching the debate, guys.
Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Fuck. Comment down below which side you think won the debate, and share your opinion with us.